Hey guys, what's up? DEK here with DEK Star Wars and the DEK Review Show. And we're going to talk about The Mandalorian. Now, this is a spoiler discussion review. I will be talking about spoilers in this. If you don't want to have spoilers, watch the spoiler-free review if you want to know my score without spoiling it. Now, oh shit, like this is insane. This episode is probably the best episode. This is probably the best episode. Season 1, Season 2. This is probably the best episode. Okay, so this episode is around 27 minutes long if you don't count the end credits or the previous like little scenes in the beginning. And holy shit, right? So, okay. It starts right in the action. This feels like a full episode, even though it's shorter. It sucks that it's shorter, but at the same time, it doesn't really feel like it lost anything. It would have been really cool to see a little bit more. But I'm really impressed for just how short it is, and just the amount that happens. So this starts off with them in the Razor Crest, right? So you got Grogu, which is the child or baby Yoda, and then you have Djarin, which is our Mandalorian, and Grogu is playing with the little shift knob, right? And the Mandalorian is getting it from Grogu and telling Grogu, you want it, here, get it, and make him use his force, right? And he's like, oh shit, or whatever, you know, and Grogu's like dropped it because he thought he was in trouble, and Din's like, no, yeah, I'm not mad at you, it's just you have incredible power. And you can hear that he's sad to say goodbye to Grogu, and he's like, well, I can't train you, you have to go to the Jedi. When we go to this temple, you have to go with them. You have to. Like, you can't not. Like, I can't train you. And how Pedro Pascal does this, you can hear that he sounds sad in his voice when he's saying that. He sounds upset that he's going to have to say bye to Grogu. But overall, he's not a Jedi. He doesn't know how to do it. So they go to this temple, right? And he's like, I don't know what's happening. He's like, I guess I put you on this rock. Right, so he flies up because he can't park anywhere near it because it's on the top of a mountain. So he parks the Razor Crest on the bottom, and he jetpacks to the top, and it's just a rock, and like a Stonehenge thing with a center rock. So he's like, I guess we put Grogu on here. And then he's like, oh, there's probably a switch or something to turn it on. Okay. And he's walking around it, like scanning it with his helmet, but he doesn't see anything. So he doesn't understand what's happening. Then all of a sudden, we see the Slave One. Yeah. We see the Slave One. It flies into the atmosphere and parks underneath the mountain. And he says, oh, we gotta go. We gotta go. And he turns back, and Grogu is meditating with this blue shield going up to the sky, the Force. So he's like, all right, we don't have time for this. We got to get out of here. And he runs up to go get the child and gets blasted back by the Force. He can't do it. He goes again, gets blasted back by the Force. So he's like, okay, I guess I'm going to buy you some time. And he goes down. And then he's face to face with Boba Fett. Yeah, we saw Boba Fett in the first, in like the first of the season with Cobb Vanth. I believe it was like episode 2, and we see him, right? But he's back here. He shoots towards Din, but doesn't hit him, and he walks back, and Din is like, "What do you want? Are you, Empire, or are you a Jedi, or are you after the child?" And he says, "I'm after the armor." And Din's like, if you want my armor, you have to pry it from me. He's like, I'm not after your armor. I'm after my armor. And he's like, are you a Mandalorian? He's like, I do what I want. And Din asks again, he's like, did you take the creed? And he says, that armor's been passed down. And he works for himself. So he does this, and Din's like, well, I'm not giving it to a citizen, pretty much. And Boba's like, you give me the armor, or I have a sniper up on the ridge that's going to take a shot. And he's like, I have the best scar. And he's like, not at you. She's gonna shoot you, your little green friend over there. So they all stop, they lower the weapons, and they talk. And Boba Fett says, you give me back my armor. Me and the sniper chick, which I think is the girl from the heist in the first season. She's one of the crew members, I believe. She was someone who was left for dead. I have to recheck. It's been a while. But they say, give me my armor back, and we will protect you and the child. And then here comes the Empire. So the Empire shows up, and stuff happens. Now, when they were doing the little meeting after they put their guns down, one of the things was Din had to take his jetpack off for some reason. That's what Boba Fett asked him to do. So his jetpack is over by the rock. Well, he runs to go get the child instead of picking up his jetpack. So he's running to go back to Grogu. Boba and the sniper go down to fight the Empire. So they're sniping and they're having a fight and they're shooting. Boba has the sand people, like the little staff, and he's just kicking ass, beating people's heads in. You can see the shrapnel of the helmets break off. He's stabbing people in the chest. It's fucking epic. And he looks over and he sees his armor in the Razor Crest. And then it cuts back to this girl knocking a rock, a boulder down, and like Indiana Jones it, and kills the stormtroopers. And then another Empire ship comes in. So they're doing all this stuff. Then comes... so this entire time, Din is up there with Grogu, trying to get him out of this Force, I guess, shield. But he's not having any luck. And the two Empire ships come, and he sees the other one, and he's like, all right, I'm going to buy you some time, kid. I got to go protect you. And he runs down to help them. So he runs down. She's having a tough time shooting. He runs down there. He starts shooting. And he says, well, I owe you. So, help me and I'll help make sure you get out of this alive this time. And then she's like, deal. So they're fighting and stuff. They're taking damage. They're getting shot. Then here comes Boba Fett in his armor. Fly down and start shooting people. Blowing them up. Shooting, like putting his gun to their chest and blowing them across the ground. And just kicking ass. And they retreat. And they run into the thing. So they're both flying off. He targets one. He shoots the missile into one. It flies into the other one. They both explode. And Din's like, that was a good shot. And he's like, I was aiming for the other one. So it's like, I actually missed, but it looks good. And then you see a bolt of light, like a bolt of red light, just shoot down and destroy the Razor Crest. There is no Razor Crest. It is gone. That ship does not exist. Blown out of the sky. Or blown out of the parking spot it was in on the ground. It's just totaled. There's no coming back from that. There's like little pieces. And then you see these lights come down. So Din Djarin's like, I gotta get back to Grogu, and he runs back up. Boba runs to the Slave One while the girl is just kind of standing there, I guess. Well, he's climbing up this mountain because he doesn't have a jetpack. Moff Gideon is on the ship and says, "Are the Dark Troopers ready?" Dark Troopers. Now, if you watch with subtitles, you know this from the previous episodes because it is subtitled as him looking at Dark Troopers. And Dark Troopers are from like video games and stuff like that. They sent out 4 Dark Troopers and they landed on each side of Grogu, who is now done with his Force ability and he's asleep on the rock. So he's climbing the mountain. They come over. By the time Din gets up on top of the mountain, the robotic Dark Troopers grab the baby Grogu and fly away. Boba says, I have a lock on them. I can get them or whatever. And Mandalorian says, stand down. Don't hurt the child. So he's like, okay, I'm standing down. I'm just going to watch where they go. So he follows the Slave One and he says, the Empire is back. He can't believe it. And they're like, well, there is no Empire. He's like, no, this isn't a slicing ship. This is the Empire. I'm staring at it. And he backs away. So he goes down. They escape. They hyperspeed out of there. So now the Razor Crest is no more. Djarin is kicking around. There's like pieces of rubble everywhere. There's just nothing left. Except he finds the shift knob thing from that Grogu plays with. So he puts that in his pocket. And then he has his Beskar spear. And he says, this is the only thing that survives. And Boba's like, Beskar. And he's like, I got something I want to show you. And he pulls up his wrist on his Boba Fett armor. And says, this is the codec that has been in the armor for over 25 years. And he shows that it belongs to him. And it belonged to Jango Fett. And it was part of their family, given to them by the Mandalorians, as he is a foundling. And they even fought for the Mandalorian Civil War. So Djarin is like, you are the true owner of this armor. It is yours. Our deal is complete. And Boba Fett's is like, no, it's not. And Din's like, well, how come? So Boba says, all right, well, our deal was I get my armor back, but I make sure you and your kid are safe. And Din's like, the kid's gone. And Boba Fett's is like, yep. And until he's back in your custody and safe, we're in your debt. And then it cuts to them on the hyperspace. So Moff Gideon is walking down the halls and he hears commotion. He turns into the room with Grogu in it. And Grogu is standing there and just destroying these 2 stormtroopers, slamming into the walls, choking them, slamming them in together, and all that stuff. One of the stormtroopers with Moff says, I'll stop him. And Moff's like, no, don't. He's kicking ass with these 2, using his force powers. Then he gets tired. And Moff says, you're getting good, but it still wears you out. And then he says, have you ever seen this? And he pulls out the dark saber and turns it on. And Grogu's reaching up for it. And he's like, you recognize this from back in the day. And then he turns it off and says, you're not old enough to play with toys like this. And then he gives the command for the stormtrooper to stun him, which passes him out, and they put cuffs on him. And that is where it fades in. This is chapter 14 called Tragedy. I should have said at the beginning, but I didn't. So whatever. But, oh man, I knew something was going to happen here. Like, I didn't know what was going to happen. Because, like, I was like so wondering if there was going to be like a big reveal or something, right? So the thing that came in my mind is I was thinking, oh, are they not going to get the child? I figured Boba Fett and Djarin are fighting down here. Din's trying to go up to the child while Boba Fett goes to the Slave One. I was like, are they going to show Ezra Bridger, like possibly show up or somebody? But no, the Dark Troopers got him. And then I was thinking, is like, well, possibly, are we going to see Moff Gideon walk into a prison cell of Ezra or something? Or give us a glimpse of Thrawn? But no, we don't see that either. But it's like, it's one of those things, it's so close. And here's one of the things about it is with Ezra Bridger, Rahul Kohli did a lot of teasing on Twitter about it, saying, oh, I'm just here doing work, and then he has Rebels in the background of Ezra. And then he's wearing his like Lucasfilm shirt, and he's doing all this stuff to like pretty heavily hint that he's Ezra Bridger, which I am all for. He does weird shit on Twitter, but he's a real cool fucking dude, it seems. And I think he would be perfect for an older Ezra Bridger. And I was really hoping we'd see like a hint or something that Ezra Bridger is, Rahul Kohli. But we don't get that in this episode. However, Twitter has been getting a lot of stuff pop up, right? So there's a lot of stuff where some of the actresses and actors in The Mandalorian are specifically liking or tagging Rahul in Mandalorian pictures and stuff about Thrawn, etc. So it kind of seems like possibly they are hinting at it as well. Because, okay, so that's all cool, but when an actor of The Mandalorian, like Pedro Pascal, tags Rahul Kohli in an episode, like in a thing where it says, oh, Thrawn could be back. It's kind of like a heavily suggestive thing of, yeah, we know. Like, you know what I mean? So it's been really cool to see him. However, this is getting huge. So last thing is, Din walks into the place. He's on the Slave One now. He's with Boba Fett. He's with this other sniper girl. And he goes to Cara Dune. Which, Cara. Little Cara. I had to buy that. Same thing with like the little child dude. But he shows up to Cara Dune. So Din has a little Republic badge. And he's like, oh, you're the Republic Marshal now. And tosses it back to her. And he says, I need to know about this prisoner. And we see him in season 1. He was in the heist and all that stuff. And she's like, oh, he's in real trouble. He's locked up for 50 years. Why did you need him? And he's like, I need to track the Imperial ship. And she's like, look, I hate the Empire, but I have these stripes now on this badge. I have rules I have to follow. And then he says, they have the child. Or they have the kid. And her face is like, oh, we're getting this guy out. And then it cuts, right? So, oh man, this was an insane fucking episode. Oh, I wish this was longer. This is one of those things where it's like, I really want to give it a 9 because it was so short. But at the same time, it was so packed full. I have to give it a 10. I don't have a choice. I can't give possibly the best episode out of both seasons a 9. I can't do that. I gotta give it a 10. Even though it's 27 minutes long, I gotta give it a 10. I don't have a choice. Oh my god, it was amazing. So fucking good. I can't wait. Like, what are we gonna... There's 2 more episodes. So I'm guessing episode 7, we have to get the kid back. Or are we going to get the... No, we're not going to get the kid back in episode 7. There's no way. So it looks like episode 7 is going to be break this dude out of prison. Right? So that's what it's going to... It's going to have to be break this dude out of prison and get the crew. So does this mean we could possibly have Din Djarin with Cara Dune, with Carl Weathers. I keep forgetting his actual actor, who he plays. So we could have Din Djarin, Cara Dune, Carl Weathers, and then we could have Boba Fett, the sniper lady, forgot her name, And then this hijacker from the heist in the first season, that's a crew of 6 people. So he's probably going to break out in episode 7, break this guy out, and get the crew together. And then they could have Ahsoka, right? Like, why would Ahsoka not help? So 7 people after the child fighting for this person. So what's that mean? So that's what I think episode 7 is. Get the heist, get the crew together. Episode 8. There's no way episode 8 is going to be less than an hour. There's no way. Like, unless they end it in some crappy thing, there's no way episode 8 is going to be less than an hour. Like, it's almost impossible for that to happen. So you possibly have 7, 8 characters trying to get the child back on this ship, where you have Moff Gideon with the Darksaber. You possibly have Thrawn, and I would really like to see. Okay, so this is how I want episode 8 to go. I want the whole crew to go find the ship. I want them to break into the ship, start shooting people up, killing everyone, just trying to get the child back. The child's locked in the thing. I want to see, Ahsoka fucking saber fighting Moff Gideon with the Darksaber while having Bo-Katan and those other Mandalorians trying to get that Darksaber. So, Bo-Katan, the other Mandalorians, you got Ahsoka, you got Cara Dune and Carl Weathers, then you got Djarin doing his thing, trying to get the child. You got the hacker dude, or the heist dude. You got all these roles being played, right? Except the child called for a Jedi. So my thing is, like, so they're fighting, fucking Moff Gideon. And then you gotta have Thrawn in there somewhere, right? And my thing, what I'm wondering is, what if, here's 2 possibilities I'm thinking. Either the child called for the Jedi, and the Jedi is Ezra Bridger, and he comes to the child on the Empire ship, either before, during, or after the fight. And that is the Jedi that he could hand Grogu over to. But instead of handing Grogu over to, I would think it goes screen black, right? He's like, yes, I think Grogu needs to go with you. And then he says goodbye in screen black. Leave it up for a little interpretation. See what happens. The other possibility is Thrawn has Ezra Bridger locked on that ship. So when Grogu called for Ezra, it possibly woke Ezra up. So Ezra possibly felt the Force and was like, woke up, right? And then having Grogu so close to him on the ship could have possibly woke Ezra's Force abilities up more. Like if he was like in a deep sleep or something, or if he was like knocked out or chained up or something. So it's like this really full power going through him that would allow him to escape once this stuff happens around him, so he can save the kid, right? And I think, and having them reunite with Ahsoka and then Thrawn being there and stuff, this could be an epic episode 8. Like, I don't understand. They could have so much potential for episode 8. It's insane. But oh man. Alright, so this video is getting long. So much shit that could be happening. In episode 7, probably breaking the dude out. Episode 8, getting the child back. Possibly seeing Thrawn. Possibly seeing Ezra. Possibly seeing a full crew go after Moff Gideon with a Darksaber and all that stuff. Be insane. Alright, so, oh man, 10 out of 10. I have to give it 10 out of 10. I have to. Don't have a choice. Oh man. Let me know in the comments down below what you thought about this episode. Where do you think this is going? What do you think? What do you want to see in episode 7? And what do you want to see in episode 8? comment down below. Hope you guys enjoyed. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Leave a like on the video. And I will see you all later. May the Force be with you. Always.